What's happening?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Yes. That or CC, whatever, which one do you want?
Either or. UFC 172 in this,
median.
what's it? Charm City? Is in that B Moore's nickname?
It was Baltimore's nickname is Charm City.
That was charming.
Let me see. That was charming. I'd give that probably about an 8. 8. It was long and lengthy, so
like my cock.
Yeah. Now we're really. This just turned into a fucking. This just turned into a fiction sports show.
I disagree, sir. You are a liar.
Anyway, UFC 172 is in Baltimore. It's we'll start with the undercard. And why I say that's because there was 2 big name fighters on the undercard, George, and that being Joseph Benavidez and Takanori Gomi, who both won their bouts.
Benavidez got a tap out. I think the Alpha Male team went 3-0, didn't they?
I think they did. Yeah, he had a guillotine choke. That's how he won his fight. And then Gomi was actually just won via unanimous decision. But yeah, Team Alpha Male, man, has looked really sharp. I mean, that they got something special going there, dude. Their shit's just.
I would reserve that specialty comment bullshit till one of them starts holding the belt.
Well, I think if anybody has I'd say Chad Mendes is this has the opportunity to do that. We'll see, but I guess I should shut my fucking mouth.
No, I mean, well, look, I'm not trying to discredit what you were saying. Do they have a good stable of fighters? Yes, but I think every stable needs a champion. We obviously know it's not going to be Uriah Faber. One of those guys there needs to hold the belt to really bring the spotlight and the credit to them. I'm not discrediting anything they're doing as a team because let's face it.
Yeah.
As a team and as a gym, they have to be one of the top-notch gyms, training facilities for everyone under 5'6".
Yeah. Just for all the guys that are fighting in lighter weight classes, man, they're just stats.
Yeah, they only have like 6-foot ceilings at their gym. They don't even have full. So they save all that space on renting and heating and air conditioning.
Yeah. Their bunk beds are Venetian blinds.
Wow.
Anyway, man. Let's start with the first fight. There was a featherweight fight between Max Holloway and Andre Fili, and I got a feeling he didn't do too good because he lost.
Yeah, it was a good way to start the card. It was a nice, entertaining fight.
It was. Holloway defeated him. Obviously, you guys know via guillotine choke. What's next for Holloway, though? You know what I mean? It's funny, George, because
I hate to break it to you. I just don't care because I'd rather spend 12 minutes talking about the Jon Jones fight than some dude I will see on Facebook or the Denny's card. I mean, I'm not, again, no disrespect. Right. I really have a bone to pick, no pun intended, with Jon Jones. So the sooner we get to that fight, the happier I'll be.
Okay, well then I'm gonna move fast. You guys know, if you guys have watched the show long enough, you know that I throw things out there just to fucking get George's fucking attitude going. You know, if I can get him, if I work it the right way, Shorty, it always fucking gets you fucking started up and fired up.
Did you say if you rub it the right way?
No, I did not say. See, stop putting stupid words in my mouth, man. Oh. I did not say anything about rubbing. Okay. Anyway, the lightweight fight was between Jim Miller and Yancy Medeiros.
Dude,
and
Jim Miller's a fucking monster.
He is just, and George and I said it. He's one of the best lightweights in the world. I mean, if it's the guys that he's lost to are all fucking top of the line guys.
Right.
They're all like pretty much legends in that class. And I mean, everybody else Jim Miller goes through, and that's what we predicted, and that's exactly what happened.
And I love how Jim Miller at the end of it said, just give me somebody in the top 5. He's like, 2 guys don't want to fight me. Here, bring somebody else. I mean, that's good to see because I think these fighters are catching on to what Dana wants. Dana wants you to bring a showman aspect to the fighting game. Ask Jake Shields. Jake Shields learned firsthand why he's sitting on the sideline or got picked up by, I don't know, someone else.
Shark fights.
Yeah, he did. No, he did get signed. What's the other one? Did he get picked up by Bellator?
I have no idea.
He got signed by somebody.
I mean, Bellator is basically picking up UFC scraps.
No, I think he got picked up by World Series of Fighting.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay.
I don't.
The
long and the short of it is, no one cares. What the point is Jim Miller after the fight did in a respectful manner, didn't discredit anybody, didn't talk shit about anybody, and just said, "Here, 2 guys don't want to fight me. Here, put me against A, B, or C." I'd love to see him and Cerrone go at it.
Yeah, that would be that would be a really good fight. Have they ever fought in the past?
I don't know.
Because both of them are such veterans. I don't know if they've ever fought in the past. While you talk to the people, let me pull that up and just see.
Don't let me talk because we will be talking about the Jon Jones fight.
Okay, hold on a second. Everybody bear with me. He is not...
I'd say no if I had to guess. I don't think they've ever fought.
No, he's fought everybody, but he's never fought Cerrone. Nope, he's never fought him. Anyway, so that's enough of that.
One. So what was the next fight, sir?
The next fight was Luke Rockhold versus Tim Boesch, and I'm going to tell you what. Remember when we were doing the pre-fight analysis of UFC 172? I was saying that Luke Rockhold, if you had taken away that one loss he had, well, obviously, to fucking Vitor, and there you go. You lost against a fighter that was jacked to the fucking gills, but he's been fucking pretty nasty. He beat fucking Jacare back in Strikeforce.
He did, and I think that would set up a perfect rematch in the UFC.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think him and Jacare need to meet again. And since we're scheduling for the UFC, I think call Dana up tonight and tell him that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And we want you do that for me. Now, whatever the case, he won. Basically, he pulled off this inverted Kimura triangle. So it was a nasty fucking way he won the fight. Enough of that. Let's talk about the light heavyweight fight, because to me, I didn't really see this coming.
Did you see my tweets during the fight?
You know what? I'm going to tell you guys what. I didn't. Some other people, some of our. The next morning, I woke up because I was completely smashed off my ass because George, you weren't here, and so what did I do? I went out with some buddies and watched the fights and just was annihilated. I mean, I remember the fights because it looked like gang fights to me. Like there was like 3 people fighting 3 people. Wow. It's good gang fights, really good gang fights. Okay, but I didn't tweet anybody because I couldn't have seen my phone or even been able to tweet you shit. It would have been just blobberish. But what were some of your tweets?
Dude, they were awesome. If I wasn't talking to you on my phone, I'd look them up. I'd tell anyone to go look at them. I think after the fight, Anthony Rumble Johnson had exceptional head movement, exceptional hands, kicks. He could have closed his eyes and thrown a punch or a kick, and he would have hit Phil Davis. Phil Davis is terrible. His stand-up is terrible. His takedowns didn't work versus a bigger guy, and Anthony Rumble, the Twinkie, I was referring to him as the Twinkie monster. Because that dude's head, coming from somebody who's been referred to as Heady Eddie and Max Headroom and everything else with a head joke, that Bama's head is so much bigger than mine. I'm just looking at that thing, and then at the end when he was thanking all of his sponsors,
I'm going to interrupt George to tell you guys right now, if his head is bigger than George's, I'm here to vouch that motherfucker's got a big ass head, shorty. He is headquarters, okay? Headquarters, because George is the Georgianaut.
I sat there and said, the last tweet for the Anthony Rumble Johnson, I said, I'd like to thank my sponsor, Golden Coral or Golden Corral. Then I put Anthony Johnson, and then the hashtags were UFC 172, hashtag snacks for wins.
Right.
So,
it's fucked up. I mean, he won this fight easily.
Oh my God, he won that so easily. It was ridiculous.
He won the fight easily, and you know what?
That was over the supposed number 4 light heavy in the UFC.
Right. Huh. So you got to give credit to Anthony Rumble Johnson. He has rumbled off 7 straight victories.
And to beat Phil Davis, 80 straight pounds, big bastard.
You know what's funny? He to me fights better heavier than he was lighter.
The only thing I would be interested in is if somebody could land strikes on him and press the pace back on him. Because Phil Davis just couldn't hit him. He was scared to exchange. I mean, at one point, Phil Davis was throwing fadeaway punches. I've never seen anyone throw a fadeaway punch, but Phil Davis has perfected the art because he was fading away and wasn't hitting nothing.
Yeah, he was fading away off into the fucking loss column.
Yeah.
I look at Phil Davis, and it's like, you can't discredit him and say he's not a great fighter because he's obviously a good light heavyweight. I mean, he's the wrestler.
He's not a fighter. He's a wrestler.
Funny. Yeah, I'll give you that. You're right. But it's amazing how styles make fight, because here's a guy who's the only person to give Alexander Gustafsson. I mean, obviously he lost to Jon Jones. That was controversy, and it was a close fucking fight. But Phil Davis handled. I mean, he beat Gustafsson pretty pretty handily. Not, he was more impressive against him than Jon Jones was. And it's like, but the fact that these styles make fights, like certain things just don't add up, Like, yeah. I just don't know what's up with him. He's hot and cold as shit, don't you think?
Well, he can go back to being a firefighter. I don't need to see. I put it this way: I wouldn't pay to watch that guy fight. I wouldn't. I'd pay to watch him fight a black bear. That's about it.
Yeah, me too. I definitely pay for that shit. A big ass black bear.
Mm-hmm. Could be a baby. Yeah. He's not gonna win.
Yeah, you got that right. Now it's just, and I'm right with you, George. The bottom line is that we said it a few weeks ago. It's like it's just not entertaining watching him fight.
No,
and someone took advantage of that. I don't care how many
people he humps to death. I don't care what. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, fuck it. Well, anyway, so what the fuck you think's next for Anthony? I mean, I think this really hurts Phil Davis. It really puts him down the ranks. He's going to plummet
down the charts. I mean, you lost to a guy who's not even ranked. And, I mean, not just lost. You got dominated. You lost 50 to 47.
Yeah. You just got fucking ate up.
No. I mean, yeah. 50-47?
Huh?
Wouldn't it be 50-47 if you lost all three?
Yeah. 10. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he lost 50-47 across the board. I'm shocked all the...
It's 50. It would be 50-47 if it was 5 rounds.
Okay, cool. Like I said, it was...
It should have been... Was it 3? Wasn't it 3 rounds? It should have been 30-27.
Pretty sure it was a 5-round fight because it was co-main event, wasn't it?
No. That only the main event is
he whooped that dude's ass. It was 30-27. We are highly unprofessional. Get over it. It's part of the show. Now, on to the main event.
The main event was Jon Jones versus Glover Teixeira. And, I mean, Jon Jones, I mean, you look anywhere, you say he just dictated. It's called ringmanship, people. When you dictate the way the fight is being fought, and and that's what Jon Jones did. I mean, it wasn't he battered him. He battered him for 5 rounds, and it was a unanimous decision. You can sum this up anyway. It seemed like the Baltimore fans really like Jon Jones, and he said he was excited about to have some fans on his side and stuff like that. You got to start looking at Jon Jones and says, you know what? He fights all these people and he wins. Some he knocks out, some he submits, some he wins. Yeah. He's just, and that's the bottom line. You can like him or dislike him. The guy's a good fighter. He's a really good fucking fighter, and and Glover Teixeira said it better. He's like, wow, the guy's just too strong, too fast. He didn't have an answer for him, and he said they came in and he did his game plan, but it just did not. It fell short. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want to see how you respond. What do you think of one fighter trying to maybe intentionally hurt another fighter in the ring? Do you think there's a place for that in MMA? And I'm not talking about via submission or punches. I'm talking about deliberately pulling off a move, whether it's that side kick to the knee, which I've always complained about. And to me, either you're with it or you're against it. I'm just against it. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's a place for it. I don't see the intention. To me, the only intention of that kick is to try to hyperextend the guy's knee. You can't convince me otherwise. That's just what I see. So,
I mean, I think that's fucking uncool, man.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because I frequently don't have the time to watch the after event media scrum that they have, and I watched this one. And Jon Jones, early in the first round, when he did that weird thing, when I think he had overhook to Glover's underhook, and he cranked his arm, and he cranked his arm again. It looked really weird. Glover was on the left-hand side of the screen. Jon Jones was on the right. Glover's right arm was tied under Jon Jones's left. And Jon Jones cranked up and cranked up again. Now, in the media scrum, he said that's a move he learned in wrestling but couldn't use in wrestling because it was dirty. But all things in the octagon were legal. He said he felt and heard Glover's elbow pop twice, and he's like, I thought good. That's a direct quote. He felt excited about being able to use that move and inflict damage on him. And to me, that's a lot different than throwing a punch or a kick or getting somebody in a submission and they decide not to tap and you end up breaking their arm. To me, there's a place for that. If you don't want to tap when a guy's cranking on your arm and he snaps it, that's your own fault. But to use a move that's dirty in one realm of MMA and say, oh good, I felt his elbow pop twice. I was just like, I hope that's not what he really meant. I hope maybe in the heat of the moment after the fight, that's not what he truly meant when he said that.
I think, I mean, I don't want to see anybody get hurt, dirty fighting and stuff like this. To me, that's not Jon Jones' fault. It's not. It's the UFC to
I'm
figure
not
out
saying
what
it's
they're going to
anybody's
use.
fault, but I'm just saying if that's the type of fighter you're going to be, then don't be upset when you get booed. Don't then come to the same media scrum and go, it was great to have my fans cheer for me. Well, you backpedaled the last 45 seconds of the fight. I get that. Before the fight's over, you throw your hands up and you celebrate. I'm like, you're doing kind of douchey things. I can, and I used to defend him. I used to defend Jon Jones. And you know what? I'm not arguing with the level of fighter he is, because let's face it, he just surpassed Chuck Liddell for most wins at the 205.
Right.
He's probably going to surpass the most title defenses at 205 as well.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, it's, because he's probably going to have I don't know who he's slated to fight next. I mean, my thing is with stuff like that, this is the thing. Like, there's so many moves that are just, you can do a neck crank and fuck somebody up. You can fucking a submission, an arm bar. You could do anything. I mean, you can check a kick. I mean, we saw what happened to Anderson. So it's obviously you're not intentionally trying to do it. Obviously, when he was cranking back and doing it, he knows that, okay, this is a legal move. And if you're fighting somebody and you think, okay, you do something that's completely legal, it's legal. You're not being stopped for it. Now, if the UFC reviews that and says, okay, and thinks maybe this is something we shouldn't have, I think that's part of MMA. I mean, I hate to say it that way, not that I condone it all the time, but it's part. People are going to be like, yeah, I have an advantage. I have a move that can dislocate somebody or do something. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do in the octagon to fuck your opponent up. We all know that. You can if you hit them square across their fucking face and knock them out, you're going to be good. You fucking hurt them. If you do anything, I mean, so that's part of the sport. And if they have not said anything or put any type of limitations or restrictions on what he's doing, then he's going to say good. And most fighters, I would have to believe, are going to follow suit and probably say good, because they feel like, now I've hurt this person, whether they've hit me, I've hurt them hitting them, or I've heard them dislocating something on their body. I've heard them, and now they're going to be short on the game. That's how I feel. I think most fighters will feel.
And like I said, I can see it both ways, but to put it the way he did, to go, hey, this is a move that's dirty, and you'd be viewed as a dirty wrestler, and I'm like, well, just because it's legal here, you're still kind of, it's kind of douchey. Now, with all that said, you're high on Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier is scheduled to fight Dan Henderson. More than likely, he should win that fight. After watching Jon Jones put on a show that he did and totally and completely dominate a shorter fighter, built more like Daniel Cormier than anyone else he's fought, how do you see Daniel Cormier faring any different at all than Glover?
I think Daniel Cormier, first of all, I think he has, to me personally, I mean, Glover has good hands, but there's a difference in having a strong punch. Like, for example, Dan Henderson has a strong punch. It's great. He loads up with that fucking right and hits you with it. That's great. He's not a boxer. It's a difference. Like, he doesn't have good hands. Like Cain Velasquez does, like Daniel Cormier they have good hands. They have good head movement.
For Daniel Cormier to take advantage of those hands, he's going to have to get inside. And you saw what happened to Glover. Every time he came inside, he was eating elbows. I mean, he was just getting outstruck even on the inside.
I think one, you're going to deal with a man first of all, you're going to deal with a man that has fought men that are 250 pounds and manhandled them. Even though he's down to 205, he is a much more aggressive fighter than Glover. I think he'll come in the inside. I think he'll try to take him to the ground even. He's a fucking Olympic wrestler. I mean, Jon Jones is a great wrestler, and I know he's wiry and strong as shit, but this is a man I think that's not going to be as scared to take him down. I think he wants to get on the inside of him. He's fought guys that are, taller than Jon Jones and have, even though Jon Jones has a really long wingspan at 84 inches, his reach, there's other fighters that Cormier has fought that have had that just because they're so tall, 6'4", 6'5". So I don't know, George. I think he's going to be aggressive. Like I think Daniel Cormier has such good hands, man. And I'm telling you, people don't. when you're that good of a dynamic of a wrestler and your hands are that fucking good, we see that Cormier has not lost in the UFC. We see his training partner is the UFC heavyweight champ. This guy was undefeated as a heavyweight, undefeated in Strikeforce. And you look at the people that he's gone through, it's fucking impressive. This is what you have to look at. Do you think Jon Jones could beat all those people that Cormier has beat to this point?
I'd have to look.
Yeah, I mean
I'd have to look because going before watching this fight, like you said, it's ringmanship, and when Jon Jones can dictate how the fight's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's a fight we get to see. Because let me tell you right now, Daniel Cormier has got the world riding on his next fight. Because even Dan Henderson, 86-year-old walker and fucking rascal scooter, getting to the ring and all, he could possibly. I don't think there's a guy that Dan Henderson can't knock out.
Yeah.
He just hits. Just hits that damn hard, and look, I don't know if Daniel Cormier's ever been hit that hard in his entire life. And I'm not saying Dan Henderson has a shot, but if he's in the ring, he's at least got a chance. So, but DC should win that fight. He should win that fight going away. Gustafsson more than likely is going to fight Jon Jones next. So, that even puts DC probably one more fight away if he wants to get paid, or he beats Dan Henderson and sits back and waits.
Right. I look at some of these guys like, honestly, Jon Jones, like Roy Nelson. I think that guy could give Jon Jones problems. Frank Mir, Josh Barnett, Antonio Bigfoot Silva. He knocked him out, remember?
Yeah, Jon Jones would dance circles around that giant caveman.
Yeah,
I don't think Bigfoot would ever get near Jon Jones. I just don't. I think he would chop that giant. And let's face it, that dude has a disadvantage because his head is 3 times the size of a normal human being.
But this is the thing. It's this is a guy that Jon Jones is all of a sudden this is a guy that's fought and handled. He's manhandled a lot of these guys in wrestling. Yeah. Big motherfuckers. You're talking guys that are 250, and he's knocked a couple of them out. So it'll be a good fight, like I said, and I hope we get to see it. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see it. Honestly, I think Alexander Gustafsson, I think that's going to pose a huge threat. People want to see that rematch, and you know what? I think Gustafsson's going to come in that fight with a huge amount of confidence.
Oh yeah.